Hello, grade 2 mathematicians. Today we are going to be working on something that you may not have known is mathematics. We are going to be working on maps. Our learning targets are two. First one, I can describe positions on a map. And the second one is I can describe how to move from one place on a map to another. Let's begin. To review, yesterday you were describing positions on a grid. So we have a star. The star is on the left of the clock. The heart is below the clock. The moon is to the right of the clock. The moon is 2 squares to the right of the star and only 1 square to the right of the clock. The pentagon is 2 squares up from the heart and 1 square up from the clock. And that's how we would describe all the things on there. Now, here's a map of my backyard. And in my backyard, you can see some different things. There's a cactus and a rabbit hole and a rose garden and some hidden treasure. And imagine, though, you were in my backyard and you were standing near the cactus. And I asked you to point up. You would point towards the sky. If I asked you to point down, you would point towards the ground. So when we describe how to move on a map, we won't talk about going up or down, because if you were standing where the map is showing, up would be to the sky, and you don't usually walk towards the sky. So instead of saying up and down, we'll think about it as our front and as our back. So instead of saying up, you'll walk towards your front. You'll go forward 2 steps or 3 steps. And instead of saying go down, we'll go backwards 2 steps. So again, here is the map of my backyard. And to help us, we're going to use this. And we'll remember that if it goes up, we'll say we'll go forward. If it goes down, we'll say we are going to go backwards. All right, let's do some exercises. The way this is going to work best is if you will tell your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister or your grandmother or your dog the answers before I do. First question, how can you get from the rabbit hole to the cactus? I see the rabbit hole is 2 squares above the cactus, but we're not going to walk up. That's right. You'll have to take 2 steps forward, or you're going to go 2 squares forward. Okay. Question 2. What is 3 steps left from the rose garden? Yeah, 3 steps left from the rose garden is the tall pine. You are correct. Question C. What is 5 steps in front of the cactus? If you thought it was the rabbit hole, that is not correct. It's not the treasure either. It is the dark cave. Correct. How can you get from the dark cave to the small hill? You will walk to the right. Yeah, how many steps to the right? 5 steps to the right. That is correct. Now, here's my map again, and Mrs. Lee thinks that she can go 3 steps right from the tall pine to get to the rose garden. Is she correct? That you are right. She is not correct. No, she can't go 3 steps from the tall pine to the rose garden because there's a fence in the way. So she will have to walk 1 step forward 2 steps to the right and then go through the gate and walk 1 more step backwards and then another step to the right to get to the rose garden. All right, fantastic work. And your bonus question, tell your brother or your mom or your sister or your dad or your pet, how can you get from the rabbit hole to the hidden treasure? You can pause this video to explain it to your parents. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide. You have some work to show me that you can describe the locations on a map and tell me how to move from one place to another. You'll work on pages 110 and 111 in your workbook. Skip the questions with the notebook symbol now that you're at home. And I want you to have a fantastic day. God bless.